Revenge films.
My name is Satoshi. I started dating my fiancée Kyoko about a year ago, and today was finally the day that we were going to get married. Whenever we went on dates, it was always in the neighborhood, so of course I assumed that we would be having our wedding right in this hometown of ours. But then... What? Do you want to have the wedding reception somewhere that far away? And plus, that venue looks like it's going to be really expensive. After we had dinner at a restaurant, my fiancée showed me a hotel on her cell phone that was pretty far away from our hometown.
What's the matter? Are you dissatisfied with a hotel that's this fancy and beautiful?
Nope, it's not like I'm dissatisfied with the hotel itself. It's just that...
But look at it! This place is so fancy and pretty. I've always thought that if I'm going to have a wedding ceremony, that I want to have it here. It's always been my dream.
If my fiancé was going to say that much, then I felt like I had no choice. This was our once-in-a-lifetime wedding, my very first one, and I wanted to make my fiancé's dreams come true as well.
It's really convenient to have a wedding inside of a hotel, you know, because they're really used to dealing with a large number of guests, so we can invite as many people as we want.
Are you planning on inviting that many people to our wedding, though?
Oh, Satoshi, why are you being so cold? You know this is our wedding, our once-in-a-lifetime wedding, the day where we are the main characters and our special day. Of course I'm going to invite a lot of people, because I want a lot of people to warmly celebrate us and to see us be happy.
I wanted to listen to my fiancé's requests and make as many of her dreams come true as possible. After we made some adjustments and tried to find a balance, as a result, we ended up with about 100 people that we were going to invite to the wedding. The cost of the entire wedding was going to be about $60,000. The day of the wedding ceremony, because of a last-minute emergency at work, I was running a little bit behind and barely got to the hotel in time for the wedding reception. I arrived at the hotel that we had booked. Of course, even though I say I was running behind, I was much earlier than all of the guests. However, when I arrived at the hotel, I was met with an unimaginable accident. Excuse me? You're saying that there isn't a reservation? There's no way that's possible. I am certain that my fiancé and I made a reservation here together for our wedding reception. When I arrived at the hotel, the staff told me that they didn't have a reservation for our wedding reception, and I panicked. And plus, my wife should already be here at the hotel. What? What do you mean she's not here and you haven't seen her? I couldn't understand what was going on and became more confused. Just the other day, we had turned in our marriage certificates and she had officially become my wife. And when I told her earlier that because of my business trip I was going to be running late, she's the one that messaged me saying she would go ahead to the venue and start getting ready before me. But despite my confusion, one by one the wedding guests started to arrive at the hotel. Of course, my parents arrived there, and our friends and our relatives, as well as people from work like my bosses, all started to crowd the hotel. One by one, as they arrived, I explained the situation to each party face to face. Some people were shocked, and of course, some people were angry. My parents told me that I should discuss it with the hotel again, so I went over to talk to them. The front desk staff went and searched for the person in charge of the events, and they looked into what happened. That was when the event manager told me that my wife had called and canceled the reservation. And not only that, but over a month ago. About 50% of the expected venue cost would have been taken as the cancellation fee, but of course the remaining 50% should have been returned to us. And so, not only did she cancel the reception without telling me, I also didn't know what my wife had done with the $30,000 that should have been returned. I was confused, but of course all of the wedding guests, all 100 of them, were extremely confused, and there was a big commotion in the hotel. I wasn't able to get in contact with my wife, nor could I get a hold of her parents either. While I was trying to do that, there were people that were furious. I arrived on the date, the time, and the place that was written on the wedding invitations, so why hasn't the wedding reception started yet? I desperately tried to apologize, and I was trying to calm everybody down when I heard my phone ring. It was from my wife.
Hey, Satoshi, why are you so late? Why haven't you gotten here yet?
I heard my wife's voice nonchalantly asking me these ridiculous questions. Huh? Where are you right now? Do you have any idea what a disaster it is over here right now? I arrived at what should have been our wedding reception venue, and they told me that our reservation had been canceled over a month ago. You know, all 100 of our guests are also confused, and everything is a mess.
Oh, stop that. Stop yelling so loudly in my ear. Before the wedding reception actually begins, I called you, so you should be thankful.
What do you mean before the wedding reception actually begins? When I looked at the time, I realized that it was 50 minutes before the wedding reception was actually scheduled to begin. Hey, what are you saying?
Well then, hurry up and come over to this venue. Bring everybody with you. My parents are already here. We're all waiting for you. See you soon.
Without even waiting to hear my response, my wife hung up the phone on me. Of course, this was happening in front of everybody, and my parents looked concerned, as did everybody else. I turned around and faced them, and I reluctantly explained the situation to them. I was drenched in nervous sweat. However, contrary to what I expected, I didn't hear anybody start yelling insults towards me.
What kind of a bride is this? Not only did she cancel the wedding reception without even discussing it with you, she didn't even tell her husband about it. Unbelievable.
Truly, how awful, how horrible can she be?
And in this way, all of the insults and anger that were being said were directed towards my wife. My parents and I apologized over and over again, and I informed everybody about the updated venue that my wife had just sent to me. But my wife's friends looked irritated and over it, and little by little they dispersed.
As usual, that idiot Kyoko. She's so selfish and does whatever she wants. Now that she submitted the marriage certificates, little by little, her fake skin is peeling off and her true nature is showing. Honestly, I can't keep pretending to be friends with someone that stupid and careless.
When we got to the updated wedding venue, the empty seats were really obvious because more than half of them were empty. In particular, most of my wife's friends that she thought were her close friends were not there. When Kyoko saw that, apparently it infuriated her, and during the entire wedding reception she was in a bad mood and barely smiled. Despite the circumstances, we somehow managed to get through the wedding reception, but when the guests left, the only thing waiting for me was my furious wife. She was practically hysterical.
This is all your fault. Because you didn't follow up appropriately and handle the situation well, we lost so many of our guests. You destroyed the wedding.
She said that to me, and of course I retaliated. Look who's talking! What on earth were you thinking? Not only did you suddenly cancel the wedding reception venue, but this venue is very clearly so many grades below what we had reserved. What is going on here?
Why does that matter so much? And first of all, the wedding reception was going to be held at a place where I decided. So the only thing that changed was that the venue that I decided is different, but it was still my choice to begin with.
You idiot! The biggest problem here is that not only did you not discuss this with me, you didn't tell me about it, and you moved forward with all of the arrangements without telling me.
I just totally forgot, that's all. And plus, the fact that we had less guests at this new reception venue was the guests in their own choice. So that has nothing to do with me. None of this is my fault.
This has everything to do with you and is very much your fault. Plus, what did you do with the $30,000 remaining from the cancellation fee? This venue was pretty pathetic in comparison, and it's not like you could have possibly used that entire amount on this new venue, so where did it go?
Well, that's... Before the wedding, I ended up using it on all kinds of things to prepare for the wedding.
I knew Kyoko, and knowing her, those words did not come smoothly out of her mouth. I knew that she was hiding something, and so I decided to go to a detective agency to launch an investigation. That was when an unexpected truth surfaced. As it turns out, to my disbelief, there was another guy that my wife had been dating before we got married, and that she was continuing to date after we got married. And my wife had used up most of what was remaining from the cancellation fee to mess around with that boyfriend of hers. Now that I had evidence of her affair, I called out my wife and her parents for a discussion. It wasn't just my wife, but my in-laws as well had become suspicious ever since the wedding day. And of course, because it was their daughter, my in-laws were trying to cover for their daughter. And this time, Kyoko's parents, of course, tried to cover for her once again, but I had such solid evidence of her affair that there was nothing they could say. When I showed them the photo evidence, as well as the way that she had used up most of that cancellation fee, all they could do is apologize to me.
Sorry, Satoshi. I cannot believe the trouble that our daughter has caused you.
We are truly so sorry. I can't believe our daughter would actually do something like this.
Even though both of her parents were on their knees apologizing to me, my wife didn't change her stance.
Whatever, I don't care anyway. I am going to have a truly wonderful wedding reception with the man that I truly love anyway.
As it turns out, to my wife, that wedding that was a big failure was apparently not real. So what you're trying to say is that we're getting a divorce, is that right?
Yeah, sure, let's do that.
And so, Kyoko and I got a divorce. And immediately after, Kyoko got remarried to that boyfriend of hers, and then I hired a lawyer. And through the lawyer, I collected the $30,000 of the avoiding venue cancellation fee, as well as the $15,000 of my money that she had probably spent on that boyfriend of hers. And of course, I collected a $30,000 settlement fee from that boyfriend as well. When they got that notice, Kyoko and her boyfriend came to my place and got down on their knees to apologize.
Please, please don't collect a settlement fee from us.
That's right, Mr. Ex-Husband. Kyoko and I are in love. This is the money that we finally saved up for our dream wedding. If you take $75,000 from us, we're not going to be able to have a wedding.
All I could do was laugh. Well, first of all, this is your fault to begin with, isn't it? You did it to yourselves, and that $15,000 was originally my money anyway. If you're really struggling for money that much, why don't you rely on your parents or friends?
Stop it! Don't talk about my parents and my friends anymore. Everybody is just blaming me for everything.
Kyoko started yelling. Well, of course they are, because for them, the fact that they're related to you or that they were friends with you at all must be so embarrassing. Well then, good luck to you so that you can have that truly wonderful wedding. As long as you can save up the $75,000 you owe me and the $60,000 for the wedding venue that you dreamed of, Kyoko, you'd be able to do it with $135,000.
What? $135,000?
Kyoko and her boyfriend sounded devastated and cried. According to what I heard through the grapevine, not long after that, Kyoko and her boyfriend didn't have a wedding, and they broke up. So it looks like the day for Kyoko to have that truly wonderful wedding of her dreams isn't going to happen.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.